Welcome to our introduction to mathematical philosophy. The goal of our course is to demonstrate that mathematical methods can be as useful in philosophy as they are in the sciences. For some of these mathematical methods, we will show you how to apply them to philosophical questions and problems. We will tell you how such applications have helped philosophers to make philosophical progress. And hopefully, at the end of the course, you will have found that these mathematical methods help you too to gain new philosophical insight. Today, we will deal with the perennial topic of infinity. This has become a popular subject on which there are lots of popular books and films. So you might have heard about the topics that I will be dealing with today. If so, even better, for this will enable you to concentrate on the more methodological questions, which are typically not raised by the popular expositions, but which I will discuss. Whether or not you have heard about the topics of today, they will allow me to introduce some of the concepts that we will need in the other lectures, and which every philosopher should have heard about anyway. So let us jump straight in. In many ways, we seem to be finite beings. And what surrounds us seems to be finite too. The house that I'm living in has a finite spatial extension. Its diameter is a certain number of, say, meters or feet. My lifespan here, I'm afraid, is finite in time. It's some number of years. I have finitely many kids, that is, 2 of them. And although the number of students of this course is fantastically large, it is still finite. I'm only capable of cutting my birthday cake into finitely many pieces, and so on. No wonder, therefore, that quite a few scholars of the past thought that the infinite would have to remain a mystery to us. In the Western tradition, this presumption was strengthened often by associating the infinite with God or godlike abilities, by believing God to have, in contrast with ourselves, an infinitely complex intellect, to be infinitely powerful, to be infinitely good, to be eternal, and the like. And if one holds these beliefs, it becomes tempting to think that understanding the infinite will be just as difficult, or maybe even just as impossible, as understanding God. Whether or not one believes that there is a God that is infinitely powerful or infinitely good, a philosopher can't help asking, what would such a belief amount to? What exactly does one mean when one ascribes terms such as infinitely powerful or infinitely good to God? Maybe infinitely powerful means something like, there are infinitely many possible ways the world might be. Infinitely many possible worlds. And for each of them, God would in principle have the power to make it real or actual, to turn it into the actual world that we are actually living in. Accordingly, maybe infinitely good means something like having infinitely many positive properties. I've used the expression infinitely many twice now. But what exactly does that term mean? And since we seem to be finite beings, are we even in a position to answer such a question? Can we reason in finite terms about the infinite without getting tangled up in paradoxes?